Middle East Conflict Timeline, 1980-2019 explained. Explore the chain of major Middle Eastern conflicts that reshaped modern geopolitics and security. 1980-1988. Iran and Iraq fight a devastating war that drains both countries and reshapes regional alliances. 1990. Iraq invades neighboring Kuwait, sparking an international crisis. 1991. The Persian Gulf War begins as a US-led coalition pushes Iraq out of Kuwait. 2003. The Iraq War starts when the US invades Iraq, citing weapons concerns and regime change. 2004. Out of the chaos of the Iraq War arises Al-Qaeda in Iraq, later a precursor to ISIS. 2011. The Syrian civil war erupts, turning into a major regional conflict. 2014. Militant groups expand dramatically when ISIS declares a caliphate across Iraq and Syria. 2019. The territorial control of ISIS collapses under international and local military pressure. Episode 1. Iran-Iraq War, 1980-1988. Explain causes, how it weakened both states, and set the stage for future conflict. Episode 2. Iraqi invasion of Kuwait, 1990. Why Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait and how history led to it. Episode 3. The Gulf War, 1991. Coalition response and the restoration of Kuwait. Episode 4. US invasion of Iraq, 2003. The Iraq War's causes, course, and consequences. Episode 5. Al-Qaeda in Iraq or the rise of insurgency, 2004. How the invasion led to militant groups rising. Episode 6. Syrian civil war begins, 2011. Arab Spring's impact in Syria and how this conflict expanded. Episode 7. ISIS declares a caliphate, 2014. How ISIS emerged and seized territory across Iraq or Syria. Episode 8. Collapse of ISIS territory, 2019. How international efforts dismantled ISIS's claimed caliphate. Learn how wars, invasions, and extremist groups connected to reshape the Middle East, from conventional armies to extremist caliphates, and what it means for global politics today. Episode 1. Iran-Iraq War, 1980-1988. The Iran-Iraq War lasted 8 years and reshaped the Middle East. Saddam Hussein attacked Iran, fearing the spread of the Iranian Islamic Revolution. Both countries suffered massive losses, millions of soldiers and civilians dead. The war left Iraq weakened, setting the stage for future conflicts like the invasion of Kuwait. Key takeaway: this war drained Iraq and changed regional power forever. Episode 2. Iraq invades Kuwait, 1990. In 1990, Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait over oil and debt disputes. The world reacted fast. The US and allies condemned the invasion. Why? Kuwait's oil and Iraq's previous aggression made Saddam a global threat. This invasion directly led to the Gulf War of 1991. Episode 3. Gulf War, 1991. The Gulf War began when a US-led coalition pushed Iraq out of Kuwait. Hundreds of thousands of troops, advanced technology, and airstrikes overwhelmed Saddam's army. Iraq retreated, but the war left the country weakened and under sanctions, creating future instability. Episode 4. US invades Iraq, 2003. In 2003, the US invaded Iraq, claiming Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. The invasion toppled Saddam, but Iraq became unstable. This vacuum allowed militant groups like Al-Qaeda in Iraq to rise. Lesson: regime change often creates unintended consequences. Episode 5. Al-Qaeda in Iraq forms, 2004. After the US invasion, Al-Qaeda in Iraq formed to fight the occupation. Insurgency, bombings, and chaos engulfed the country. This group later evolved into ISIS, one of the most feared extremist organizations in history. Episode 6. Syrian Civil War starts, 2011. The Syrian Civil War began during the Arab Spring protests. Civilians demanded change, but Bashar al-Assad's regime responded violently. The war spiraled into regional chaos, with multiple countries and militant groups involved. This created the perfect environment for ISIS to expand. Episode 7. ISIS declares a caliphate, 2014. In 2014, ISIS declared a caliphate across Iraq and Syria. They controlled territory, collected taxes, and attracted fighters worldwide. ISIS became a global threat, inspiring terrorism and destabilizing the region. Episode 8. ISIS territorial collapse, 2019. By 2019, ISIS lost almost all its territory due to military campaigns by local and international forces. The caliphate collapsed, but the ideology still inspires extremists globally. Takeaway: military victory ends territory, but the underlying problems remain.